We ride with Nick. We ride with Brian. We just gotta come out. We just gotta play ball. That's all it is. It is one person messing up or something like that. And I'm not saying that somebody's just trying to mess up, but it happens. We human. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, it's highs and lows, and you see the glimpses. So that's why I'm like, well, we right there. We right there. Despite everything, despite everybody saying this and saying that, like we right there, and we know we are. And that's the only thing that matters. Is we know. You know, you can say whatever you want to say, but when the shit happens, then it's gonna be like, oh, what is going on? Oh.
The only portion of accountability I care about is that what happens in this building. Like that was nice of AJ to say that. He didn't have to say that, because all I really care about is that the accountability takes place here, and that's all that matters. That's all that matters is if we're getting better as a unit, and that we're getting better as a team based off the mistakes we've made and based off the good things that we've done.
Hey y'all, today of course is Matt Rogers on the Honorable Mention podcast, which is a Philly sports podcast. We got Conor Myles from Eagles Unfiltered over on the Bleav Network. Is that how you say that, Conor?
Yeah, that's how you say it. That's correct. Yep.
Bleav. You've been over there for a while, of course, recording with Ed Kratz, who's also a friend of the show. Let's just jump into it, man. I think AJ Brown made some comments midweek that in my eyes changed the way I was looking at it. And I think I've seen a lot of the responses on social media. I think it like changed the trajectory of people's thoughts. Could we be in kind of, you know how the saying goes, win one for the Gipper when people feel like they turn on the manager? Could we be in that kind of territory for the Birds for this playoff run?
Look, this team loves the coach. And I think what A.J. Brown just reinforced this week, what we're all worried about is that this locker room quit on Nick Sirianni. And I think with A.J. Brown's interview and the comments that he made and the professionalism that he showed to stand up for his head coach, just showed us that he has not lost his locker room whatsoever. They're just going through a rut. I really think that we underestimated, because of the 10-1 start, how much of Super Bowl hangover carries over into the season. I think this team knows how close they were to getting to the Super Bowl. They know how talented they are. And I think they're just getting ahead of themselves. They're ready to get back to that Super Bowl where they were, they weren't finishing the job at hand, finishing the regular season. So
absolutely.
I think the major problem with this Philadelphia Eagles team is the defense is broken and the offense doesn't know how to carry the team while the defense is broken. And that's been the biggest factor of the season, and the biggest factor into losing the 4 out of the last 5 games, especially the teams they shouldn't be losing to. They shouldn't be losing to the Seahawks, and they shouldn't be losing to the Cardinals. So this is something that I think it's going to be very tough for them to turn around because the way the defense is performing. You change defensive play callers way too late into the season. I don't even think Matt Patricia's a good defensive play caller to begin with. I think he rode the coattails of Bill Belichick regardless.
Like a lot of people do.
Yeah, and I mean, it's showing. I'm going to be honest with you. It's showing that final drive against the Seahawks, that was a horribly called drive. That whole entire game against the Cardinals after they had a 21-6 lead, he didn't even act like they had a defensive coordinator at that point.
It was horrible.
Sean Desai was the scapegoat, yes, but Sean Desai deserved to be where he is, and I'm not going to lie to you, Matt Patricia's not going to get the defensive coordinator job because of what he's showing for this Eagles team so far at this point too. And well, they're going to have a new defensive coordinator this offseason and hopefully can fix this defense, because I'm going to be honest with you, Matt, this is more like the 2018 Eagles than it is the 2017 Eagles. That this is just too much to overcome, I feel, on this team. I do feel like they'll turn around. I do feel like they'll pull out a wild card victory, and then the momentum will swing and they'll get right back in there. But just like how they dropped that ball against the New Orleans Saints and only lost by a touchdown, I really think the same thing's going to happen here as well. And when they get to the divisional round, it's just too much to overcome. This defense is just too bad. I don't think they can win with this Super Bowl with this defense, but I do think they will get some energy. They will win this game against the Giants. They'll carry some momentum into wild card weekend that will actually boil over into a victory. But I think this team's ceiling is just the divisional round, because this defense is just too piss poor to win a Super Bowl with. It's just the truth.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, an offense can't be that good, especially when you get to the playoffs, when Jalen would have to then carry the team on his back. I mean, he's not carrying the team, and they scored 31 points. I guess 24 if you include that Sidney Brown took the pick 6. Right. But you're getting yourself into that realm, but you're going to be playing against championship caliber defenses. I could see a path to like the Eagles beating a Detroit Lions in the second round or something like that. I mean, even a Cowboys, but if they don't get the 2, which is all but sure thing,
Right.
You know, they're going to have to play San Francisco in that second round potentially as well. And I don't think I don't know. Getting me right now, I don't see how it happens. I guess they still have 2 guaranteed games for the defense to show us something. Maybe Slay comes back and maybe his knee was way too swollen this year and he was hobbled, but it's been bad. And Bradbury's been getting picked on. It's been rough.
Bradbury's turned out to be the contract year player. He proves in his contract year, you pay him, and then he just resorts back to his bad play. It happened with the Giants, and it's happening now with the Eagles, and it's not looking any better. The fact that Keely Ringo has looked better than him this season in that small, short, time span that we've had seen him, and he's a rookie, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous.
It is.
And then it's not even just that. I saw an article put out by NBCSports.com. I thought this article was hitting the nail on the head on the defense. There's no chemistry. They have way too many mercenaries, is what the title of that article was.
Yeah.
Shaq Leonard coming in midseason. Kevin Byard at the end of his career coming in midseason. These linebackers coming in off the street. I mean, Zach Cunningham was not here until the last week until 2 last weeks of preseason. And he's your main linebacker. Nicholas Morrow was not really, he was here, but then he was cut and then he's brought back in the middle of the season. There's no chemistry on this defense whatsoever.
They don't invest. They don't really care about those positions. They don't care about linebacker. They don't care about safety. And they've been proven right over some times. They've been churning out these guys, these TJ Edwards, these Kaiser Whites, these Jordan Hicks, and year after year being able to find another. And at some point that's going to bite you, I think. In the NFL, it's a cyclical game, and you can't just, say we're going to lock down the corners and then we can mix and match and play with whatever linebackers, Alex Singleton, and be good. I mean, it's not going to work long term.
Look, we were okay with it in the offseason because they did invest a 3rd round pick in Jacoby Dean. You have to see your return on an investment on a 3rd round pick. I completely understand that. But at the same time, Harry Roseman put way too many eggs in one basket when it came to Jacoby Dean and Reed Blankenship. It was just way too much. I mean, you have to surround these young guys with talent. And he waited way too late into training camp to say, oh my God, Jacoby Dean's been banged up. We don't really have a good running mate for him. Let's go try to sign Zach Cunningham, Miles Jack, and let's try to make it work. Just like we just randomly got lucky with Kaiser White. Kaiser White's a good football player.
Absolutely.
They underestimated that. They could have brought him back. He only signed with the Cardinals for a 2-year, $6 million deal. That could have been brought back. TJ Edwards, I kind of understand. Got a huge deal from the Bears. Not really thinking the Eagles would ever pay that much for a linebacker. But still, I mean, there were options on this free agent market that they let go because they put so much faith in Jacoby Dean. And that faith was misplaced. We were all okay with it in the offseason, but it was misplaced. His injury history was too damning, and it's showing again in the NFL. They should have had a better insurance plan for that. And they put way too much eggs in their basket for Reed Blankenship as well. Great, solid player developing into his own. Does not have the good coverage skills. Howie should have known that. They should have given more support at the safety position. Justin Evans, Terrell Evans, those guys were week 3 wave free agent signings. You got lucky with those positions and you thought you can get lucky again. That's not how it works in this league. You have to again, that CJ Gardner-Johnson trade came out of nowhere. We needed one of those again. We needed one of those again before the season started if we were going to have that continuity that we had in the secondary, and we just waited way too long and waited for Kevin Byard, who honestly is at the end of his career. And he's showing that right now. This is more of a Golden Tate trade than anything with Kevin Byard. So
totally,
it's some
great comparison. Golden Tate, yes, he made a big play in the Bears playoff game too in the 2018. I'm going to tell you right
now, Kevin Byard had a great game against the Chiefs. He really did. He was solid against Travis Kelce.
Absolutely.
Hopefully, the Eagles can have a Kevin Byard interception in the playoffs that really changes the tone. But again, he's been the Golden Tate for them so far. It's not working out. They need to address safety this offseason because I think Reed is just a guy. I like him. He's a starter for this team. He's going to be a starter for this team going further. He's just a guy, though. Sidney Brown is your future at safety, but you need somebody else there as a running mate because you need really 3 safeties in this league.
Reed is getting picked on in coverage. They're going single high with him. Oh, it's bad. They're going people are saying if we're seeing single high, we're going deep. I'm watching it happen.
He made a comment that I showed his experience incredibly after that Darius Slayton touchdown he gave up. He said, I expected some help on that. Oh, like, buddy, you're the safety. You're the one that was supposed to give the help. He's a good player. Don't get us wrong. He's a good player. He's too young and he's not ready and he's not there in coverage wise. Well, that's why the Eagles are failing so much in this past secondary because we really underestimated how much Marcus Epps provided to this team. We underestimated how much CJ Gardner-Johnson provided to this team when he was healthy. And we
churning them
really
out.
sorely underestimated what these linebackers did last year starting for this team. So that's what this defense fell apart because of it.
This is not going to be a popular conversation, but I kind of want to put this to bed. And if you agree, even if Nick Sirianni were to lose the next 2 games, we're not anywhere near the realm of a coach firing, right?
Absolutely not. No. I think people always forget at the same time, Doug Peterson went through his struggles. Jeffrey Lurie allowed those struggles because they won the Super Bowl. This team went to the Super Bowl. Nick Sirianni is the most winning head coach in franchise history to start off his tenure with the team. They're not just going to fire him. It's not. They need more valid reasons than dropping 4 of your last 5 when you're already going to the playoffs. Still, if you were to honestly sit down and ask Jeffrey Lurie and Howard Rosen what's your honest assessment of this team, they're going to say we failed this offseason when it comes to defensive coordinator. We failed. Chris Long made a comment when he met Matt Patricia this offseason. Well, he knew Matt Patricia. They were together in New England. But when he met up with Matt Patricia this offseason, when he went to do his training camp tour, that he felt that was always plan B to the plan A. So they clearly went into this offseason. There's a reason why they went after the Arizona Cardinals and got that 3rd-round pick. They were shafted when it came to the defensive coordinator position, when it came to hiring that. They were last to the punching bowl when it came to hiring their defensive coordinator. They didn't get to interview all the candidates they wanted to. They didn't get to speak to the people they wanted to. They let the guy they really wanted get out the building to the Miami Dolphins. It was a tough position to put themselves in, and it's showing this season that they were just not prepared for Jonathan Gannon's departure. They thought he was going to stay there, and when he left, it put him in a rut, and they hired the wrong guy. They brought in his backup plan, who I'm going to be honest with you is the wrong guy as well. So that's what they're going to say is where their shortcomings were. And the worst thing they're going to do is, hey, Nick, we told this to Doug. He didn't really listen. We moved on from him. We're going to offer the suggestion to you. You've showed us in the past that you are willing to accept change. You gave up play calling, which was what we brought you in here for, and you gave it to your buddy Shane. We're going to need to make these tough decisions again where you're going to have to move on from, let's say you move on from Brian. You're great friends with him. He's been a great quarterback coach for us. Unfortunately, he's going to have to be the scapegoat for us, just like Mike Groh was in the past, just like all these other guys were in the past. He's going to have to be the scapegoat for us because it's just not working. Now, there's Kellen Moore that's available. There's Eric Bieniemy that's going to be available potentially with Washington Clearinghouse. There's other guys out there that's called offenses in the league. They're going to be available. We can give them the offensive head coaching job, basically. You could be the head coach. You could be the coach that you were when Shane was here. You could be the coach that you were when Jonathan was here. Relax. Let those guys handle their positions. You just lead the team. We need to get back to that point because we're not at that point anymore because Brian Johnson cannot lead this offense, and we don't have a guy that can lead this defense. So that's what he's going to make some tough. They're going to say, hey, Nick, we're keeping you, but we're going to need you to fire some friends. That's what's going to happen this offseason.
Do they need to go to the championship game for that conversation to be put to the side? What saves Johnson and Patricia's jobs?
What saves Johnson, I mean, is his relationship with Jalen Hurts. I'm not saying it's a guarantee that they fire Brian Johnson, and I really think it would be unfortunate, to be honest with you. I think he'd be a scapegoat.
Yes.
Nick Sirianni and Brian Johnson are hand in hand in that offense. It's not Brian Johnson just handling the whole entire thing. I know everybody wants to point the finger because he's calling the plays, but that's a script that they go over the night before. So Nick Sirianni is signing off on the plays that are being called. This isn't just Brian Johnson running the show and doing whatever he wants, and Nick saying, "What's going on over here? Like, what are you doing? Like, we need to change something." No. This is something that they came up together the night before the game at Nick's house.
Yep.
So that's what everybody likes to forget. These guys are coming up with these scripts and they're doing it together. So Nick Sirianni signed off on what Brian Johnson was ready to call. So it's both of their faults. It's not one person's fault. So the way that they could save that is relationship with Jalen Hurts. Jeffrey Lurie's going to ask Jalen Hurts his opinion on how to move forward with his offense, no matter what. He's going to ask him. He's going to have that conversation in the offseason. And I would envision Jalen Hurts having Brian Johnson's back just because of their relationship. If this offense can wake up and it can perform in the playoffs where it looks very, very what's the word? Very, very elusive, very concise in the wild card round, then they save their jobs. They just save their jobs. Will they bring a different quarterback?
Oh, win in the wild. They have to win in the wild card round.
And the offense has to look its part. If the offense looks its part back in the playoffs, even if they lose in the divisional round and they look their part, and the defense is I really think they're blaming the defense. I think the whole focus is on the defense. But at the same time, Jeffrey Lurie, they're cleaning house. They're cleaning house on the personnel side. They're cleaning house on the defensive coaching staff side. Absolutely. But when Jeffrey Lurie loves points, that's his main point. He loves a high octane passing offense that scores a lot of points. If they're able to turn that around and do so in the playoffs, Brian Johnson says. If they're not able to do so, I think they're going to have that tough conversation where they say, look at the guys available. If it wasn't for the guys available, like Kellen Moore, Eric Bieniemy, so on and so forth, or who are going to get fired to clean house this offseason, I could see that. I mean, truthfully, Frank Reich available as well, too. Might not excite everybody, but he's available as well, too. Deuce Staley's also available. There's going to be a lot of guys that are offensive coaching that Jeffrey Lurie's going to like. And I think that's going to make a tough decision for him if this offense doesn't perform and Brian Johnson's going to end up being the scapegoat.
Yeah, they have to score. They have to get out of the low to mid 20s, at least in both playoff games. It doesn't matter. I mean, this Sunday is for mojo and getting the ball rolling, getting the team feeling like they're the same team with the green helmets supposed to be. But they have to get out of the mid to. They have
to score in the 30s.
The 30s.
Yeah. They have too much high-powered guys on offense. Even if Devontae Smith is not 100%, he's still Devontae Smith. They have Dallas Goedert back to 100%. They have A.J. Brown, who was the second best receiver in the NFL for a long stretch of the season. They had too much. DeAndre Swift is making a Pro Bowl for a 1,000-yard running back season. But my hope is that they go into the playoffs and they say, we were so predictable this season. Christian McCaffrey's on the couch calling our plays during the time we're playing Seattle. Let's switch it up and let's do the script completely. And let's be a running football team. Let's be a dominant
protect the defense.
Team. Yeah, let's open up the play action and let's get AJ involved a little bit more by opening up the play action because teams are honing in on him with double coverage and they're not scared to double cover him anymore because they don't believe Jalen Hurts can get the ball to Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert cleanly. Let's open up the run a little bit more. Let's surprise him. Let's show him what kind of weapon DeAndre Swift is. I mean, it's his first 1,000-yard season for God's sakes. Let's open it up a little bit more.
Pro Bowl linemen, 3 Pro Bowl linemen.
Let's just do something unpredictable let's just do something unpredictable in the playoffs.
Yes.
Let's just do that. Let's just flip the script and go become a rushing offense, and then let's open up the play action a little bit more, and that will score more points. And then maybe that opens up Jeff Lurie's eyes to keep Brian Johnson and Nick Sirianni, so we only have to focus on one side of the ball this offseason, because that's really what they need to do. The defense is broken. It needs to be fixed.
They're broken on third down. The problem is they keep getting to like 3rd and 9, and it's like cashed money for the other team. They're like, it's horrible. If they could get off the field on 3rd down, they are making plays from time to time. It's just when it gets down to crunching time, they're letting. And
the answer to that is so obvious. If you're going to play your corners so far off on 3rd and mediums, when you have such poor coverage from your linebackers, and when offenses are just utilizing the quick passing concepts to neutralize your defensive line, you gave up on that 3rd down already before the ball was even snapped.
That's right. That's right.
You did. You gave up already before the ball was even snapped.
No press. So they're off the line with their timing. You're giving them the timing on a timing route. There's no breaking through, having trouble with the release at all with that.
Well, if I'm a quarterback, I have full confidence I can complete the ball over the middle on this Eagles defense because the linebackers are the way they are. Even with Zach Cunningham healthy, they don't have a guy that can cover at linebacker. So if it's 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, I'm confident that I can get the ball over the middle of the field and my guy's going to get yak and get the first down because this team can't tackle either. This defense can't tackle whatsoever either. So that's the problem. That's why they're so historically bad on 3rd down is they play. I don't understand why they think they can play so far off with the corners and that just puts them in a bad. That's another thing. I mean, James Bradley's been bad this year, but he's also not been played to his strength. And same thing with Darius Slay. I mean, Slay's still a great corner, but I mean, he's ranked in the 50s for PFF. And the main reason why is because he's playing so far off at the age of 33. Like, come on. He's just playing way too far off. They gave up on 3rd down right before the ball snap each time. That's why they're so bad at 3rd down.
So who do you think it'll be that the Eagles would have to face out of the NFC South and wild card? It's likely they'll be the 5, and then they have to play the 4. So who do you think that's going to be?
I think the Saints are kind of unfortunate with this one, with the Bucs playing the Panthers this weekend. So I think it's going to end up being the Bucs is who they play. I think the Saints are going to struggle with the Falcons still. So that's going to be a problem for them. So I think they're going to end up playing the Bucs. And I know the Eagles beat the Bucs before. They have the formula to beat them. So that's why I think they can beat them again. But again, it's going to be a whole different game because the defense wasn't reeling as it was earlier in the season when the Eagles first played the Bucs. The offense
they held them to 11 points. Can you believe this Eagles team held that playoff Buccaneers team to 11 points?
They got to get back to that. They got to find that formula that they had earlier to beat the Bucs because Baker Mayfield is very turnover prone, and if the Eagles win the turnover battle, that's how they can win with this defense. As long as they win the turnover battle, that's all they can. That's the only way they can win with this defense. So Mike Evans and Chris Godwin are going to give them problems. It's just the truth. And Ricard White is running the ball pretty well this year, and this run defense fell off a cliff already. So it's going to be a whole different game against the Bucs. But I do think the Eagles can win it 100%.
Okay, well, until next time, Conor, thank you so much for coming on. It's always great to talk ball with you. Where can people follow along and show you some support?
At Snipe Miles on Twitter, and again at Eagles Unfiltered as well. We do a podcast once per week. Ed Krass, as always, from SI, and myself. Just tune in anytime you chance to get Eagles Unfiltered.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, man.
All right, thank you for having me on, Matt.
Like I said, we're trying to win the Super Bowl. So Super Bowl is all good, but we want more.
We ain't playing great enough to be sitting down, and we need to go into the playoffs with a good momentum. And I know everybody worried about everybody, but on this team, everybody knows in their heart, like, hey, we got to go out there and play like a complete, clean game when that stuff is just executing. And yeah, man, we got to keep going. Ain't no way we need to be sitting down, but.